Hello, Culture Matters podcast. I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest. It's a very special episode. Here's a quote before I introduce you to our guest that I picked just for this episode. You weren't created to be average. You were designed to be blessed and unstoppable.
Billy Osbrook.
Yes,
Let's
sir,
go.
Billy Allsbrooks. Now, today I'm joined by a friend of the Culture Matters podcast. Our guest today, creator of all things retirement group, Jay Stoll in Nebraska. Jay's story is one of reinvention, discipline, purpose. He began his career serving his community as a deputy sheriff, becoming a father. Of course, he made a decision in his career actually wrestling with time, and he chose to redesign his life, like our quote here, so he could have a greater impact in his family in the world, and he's doing just that, and we'll get into that today. And that led him from physical therapist assistant into the insurance business. He's been a part of the winner's circle, which only 2% of people in an organization he was with ever made it out of many people. He was a runner-up for the rookie of the year in the organizations that he's been with in the past. He's jumped into the industry and created success from helping people begin with the end in mind. And I've got a million questions for him. We've met through all things insurance group ecosystem community of advisors and entrepreneurs committed to mentorship, self-development, cultural development, and growth. And yeah, I'm proud to have Jay on the Culture Matters podcast. And shout out to Pete Fournier, he's a regular on the show, for having being who he is, that I'd come in contact with Jay. So, man, give me a couple more minutes. I got more to say. Thanks for coming on the Culture Matters podcast, Jay.
Man, that's like a novel or a movie right there.
I'd watch it.
I've heard people say that too. I've heard my wife actually lived it, so she can tell you that it's probably like PG-13 or something.
So
But
you
no, man, I'm
started.
doing I'm doing great. How you doing?
Really good, and it's a blessing to have you on the show. I want to go back to, you started in law enforcement. What drew you to serve in that way? I think there's so much to learn, even right there. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um,
Runs deep in our family. So a lot of family members are in law enforcement, whether it be city or county. It was something that I knew would be a good calling. I still miss it this day, to be honest with you. Like I said, there was nothing like it. But life happens, right? And so make a pivot, make some adjustments, and I don't regret it at all. I'm happy to say I was able to do it. Um, but yeah, that's where we're at.
are there are there ways of looking at the world, at life, at business, that experience may have prepared you, even not even knowing it early on, to be so successful so quickly in the insurance business?
Yes. Oh God, yeah. Number one, communication. Huge, huge communication. Um, got to be quick wit and make quick decisions that are resourceful. Yeah, I really never thought of it like that, but yeah, if I go back to actually think about it, law enforcement had a massive impact just on who I am today and the way I'm able to run my business the way I run it is simply because of that structure, organization, discipline was massively huge.
When did you how long were you in that business?
3.5 years
And what was the first 6 months like?
in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Got out of the academy. I went to a small county, so there's 9,000 people. So it was one officer on duty at a time. Okay. My first 2 weeks on the job, we had our first unfortunate double fatality.
Oh man.
And so I was the one who was on duty. We were looking, we were thinking maybe it was kids, high school kids went missing. I'll make it short. Two school kids went missing. We searched the county. Parents were worried. We were looking around, thinking, okay, maybe they just went to a bigger city for a little bit. They're going to come back. And so we were waiting. Nothing happens. A couple days later, nothing. We're thinking, okay, parents are like they're probably just rebelling. I'm just on regular patrol, and I come over a bridge, and about 50 feet down, I see their vehicle we've been looking for.
Oh man.
And so, how does that tie into doing what I'm doing now? We don't always deliver good news. We have to deliver bad news sometimes. And so, be in a situation where I've got to call a mom and dad and say, "Hey, your son and daughter are dead," was very rough. And then having to go to the morgue and do a blood draw and hearing all the family members on the other side of the wall just wailing, screaming, and crying. So it's all about communication, again, and being just being there, listening, understanding. Were they angry? Yes. Were they angry at me it happened? No. But did I take it? Absolutely. It's the same thing as, when you got to deliver bad news and, you know, one of our clients passes away, and how we deal with that.
It's just so our audience, maybe they know nothing about, they haven't met you yet, and they don't know what you do and why you do it. Can you
Oh,
give a high
sure.
level what you do, why you do it, where are you in the world so that they know?
Yeah,
Because
I'm
I
a
want to
licensed
go into all
insurance
the.
agent. Yeah, I'm a licensed insurance agent. I run All Things Retirement Group. It's powered by All Things Insurance Group with Pete Fournier. We specialize in designing retirement plans working back to front. And so what that simply means is making sure that you have income on top of Social Security in retirement. Making sure that if you want to leave a legacy, we can definitely help with that. If you need some tax-free retirement options, we can help you with that. Long-term care, the number one highest profession now, I learned yesterday, and moving forward for the next 10 years, is home health.
Wow. Whoa.
Home health, home care assistance is the number one moving forward as far as most populations of people working in the industry. So, like I said, do that. Help out with Medicare, with Social Security. Is it time to take it at 62, 65, wait till full, or we go the max? And so, simply, that's what I do. We design and fully written retirement plans to ensure that everything is taken care of because when chaos comes, and it will, that plans are going to be in place to make sure everything is okay.
You brought up in that story, you said the first 6 months, um, tragedy I took
Hmm.
away, sharing, be sharing bad news, and you talked about communication, and I wrote down about quick decisions.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by quick decisions and where you see that being valuable in your profession today as an insurance advisor?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Quick decisions. Let's say I'm making phone calls to prospects, right? I buy some leads, I'm calling people, and they're getting angry at me. They're calling me every name underneath the sun. I got a decision to make, right? I can engage back with them, or I can think of some empathy as, hey, okay, if I was in a reverse situation, would I be doing the same thing? How would I be feeling?
Hmm.
So that makes a huge thing. And within law enforcement, again, a quick decision means I get to go home to my wife and kid, or I'm possibly dead.
Hmm. Hmm.
I always chose to do the the better of the two. That's why I'm still here.
What changed it? So do you remember where you were when you where you were or the day that you decided to move out of law enforcement?
Yeah. Yeah. Got a call that my son was taking his first steps, and I missed it. And I didn't at the time want to be a dad. I liked doing what I was doing, but again, it wasn't my plan. It was a higher callings plan,
Wow.
and I missed that, and that just broke me. And so I knew right then and there I needed to be there for him. And so I got off shift at 4:30 in the morning, contacted my sheriff. He met me at the precinct, went down there, and I gave my resignation right then and there. Within 2 weeks, I moved back to my hometown, had family support, went back to school, and then it was on to phase two.
Have you met people since that are in with small children that you shared that story with that resonated with it or could relate to it in that way?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because like I said, of my friends, I was one that had a child at a younger age, and so I always told them, like I said, the greatest thing I've ever gifted been is a dad. And I said, don't take it for granted. Make sure you're there for all the moments. And some of the most important moments I missed, to which now I make sure I never miss them again.
Hmm.
That's one thing that's so wonderful about this industry we're in is I can go see my son and my daughters all their sport events and not miss them and still be able to have a great life and a great financial backing.
We, well, listeners may be in that exact position today.
Hmm.
What's that conversation look like if you have that with them one on one and they say, "Hey, I have a career, but I'm gonna, how do I, I'm not, how do I actually do that? Like, what does that conversation look like one on one? Like, act as if you were just talking to them one on one, somebody
Do
that
you
was
like
where
what
you
you do
were.
or do you love what you do? Do you like it because you have to do it or do you love it because you choose to do it? And whatever answer they give me, then I know which direction to go. If they
Let's say
say,
if you
hey,
say,
I like it because I have to, perfect, then we should talk. I love my career and I get to do it. High five and great job. Keep it going.
"Oh, why? Okay, why that? Why?
If they're already saying, hey, I love the career I am. So let's just say it's a school kindergarten teacher, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I absolutely love my career. I get to wake up and do this every day. Perfect. Don't disrupt the balance of the universe. Good for you. If you need me, I'm there in the future, but you love it. Good for you. The people I like talking to are the ones that say, I like what I do, but I have to, not I get to.
What are some of the elements that led you to be, well, first of all, do you consider yourself, did you consider yourself successful the first couple of years in the business?
The insurance industry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, I did. What made me most successful, though, was month three. I sold my first annuity. That took me from probably quitting the industry to getting that pay and realizing, okay, now there's layers. Because I came from a primary Medicare only company, right? It was a great learning experience. You have to get your feet wet somewhere. Forever grateful. But it was pounding the phones every day. It was cold door knocking. It was, you need this many appointments every week. You have to make this many sales, right? It was a very disciplined structure for new people. It was great, but it wasn't working out. And then I sold my first 500,000 annuity, and then all of a sudden, the skies opened up, and I'm like, holy cow. And after I sold that annuity is when I never said I have to do this career anymore. It's I get to.
Wow. Well, I want to ask about that for those that are listening that don't know what an annuity is.
Yeah.
Can we start there?
If you're in the senior market, that's my specialty. An annuity is simply an investment vehicle that helps protect their income, whether it gives them income every month on a month-to-month basis, like a river of income, or it just grows to a lump sum wide pool, and then when they pass away, they can give it off to their beneficiary. Now, it can be structured in so many different ways. I don't want to get in the weeds because that's where so many people get confused. But annuities are excellent for the simple fact of the matter is in retirement, we're no longer in the accumulation phase, right? So I have stocks, bonds, right? I have Edward Jones. I have all that stuff. I'm 45. I got another 10 years, hopefully, right? Working. If I go beyond 10 years, then I failed. Um, but right, I can play it aggressive right now. The market will go down, but it always comes back up. However, if you're no longer working and what you have is all you have, and your money's parked in an IRA, and we have a COVID episode where it goes down 30%, you're no longer working to make that up. There's a really good chance that person's not going to live to see that go back to where it was. So, what an annuity is simply protects your money from loss. It will grow as the stock market goes up. However, when the market turns and goes negative, that person doesn't lose money. And then if anybody wants to know more about that, who's listening, give me a call.
And I should add for our listeners, we're not giving financial advice here on the Culture Matters
No.
podcast, but I am trying to learn more about Jay and his background and where his passion comes from and what he does every day. So now that I said that, fascinating. How about between law enforcement and the insurance industry? You actually went back to school?
I did.
Was that scary?
I was 29 going back to college. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you know what? When I went to college the first time, I failed out miserably. Dude, I was a C student in high school, and I heard the coolest thing the other day. Coolest thing, right? And it makes all the sense in the world. The C students in high school grow up to be the millionaires, right? The B students work for them, and the A students are going to be your doctors, your engineers, or burnouts. So I was always a C student. I failed out of college my first 2 years. I just didn't have it in me. Didn't want to do it. I just went because I thought I had to. So when I went back at 29, I was in a massively different mindset because now I'm
Hmm.
not going to school for my future. I'm going back to school because I got my wife and I got my son that are relying on me.
What core values got you through it? Did you finish it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not only finished. Like I said, I was always a C student in high school. I had a 3.8 GPA graduating college.
Wow. Wow.
For some reason, everything just clicked. I could look at something and understand it. Whereas before I'd look at it and I'd be like mumbly jumbly. I don't know. ADHD, I don't know if I had that, but yeah.
Wow. What class did you take and what were you pursuing then?
Well, I had to start all over. And so I had to do all of my gen eds all over again, right? And then I went into physical therapy assistant, which is kinesiology, which is study of movement, body movement, all the PT classes, everything. Yeah.
What was most interesting to you at that time about physical therapy? That's correct, what you were doing at
Yeah.
that time?
Um, I love the learning aspect. I love just learning brand new things and applying what I learned to different case situations. So take you back to law enforcement, right? I get a call. Hey, we have a suspicious person on this avenue. Go check it out. Awesome. I go there, investigate, make contact, communicate, make smart, quick decisions, go home at night. Physical therapy, right? You go see your patient, they have a diagnosis. It's our job to put together a plan to help them recover, to get better. If they have a new knee, it's my job to teach them to walk again. So I said during the Boston City marathon bombing,
Whoa.
the most important people after that was the physical therapist because those were the ones that, unfortunately, when people were getting injured from the bombs and losing legs, losing arms, losing limbs, the physical therapists were the ones teaching them to stand up, walk, and eventually run again. So that was a huge calling.
Yeah, what did that chapter teach you about people?
I've always said 99% of people in the industries I've been in lie to me or want to kill me, except for the insurance industry. But when I was a police officer, right? Nobody likes cops. No one tells the truth. I had more people threaten me when I was a physical therapist than I did as a police officer. because unfortunately our job is to help them get better, but to do so sometimes that elicits uncomfortableness or pain. And so I always said, yeah, I'd have more people yell at me and get angry with me in physical therapy than I ever did as a police officer. But again, it taught me how to empathize, de-escalate situations, and continue to move forward and get the goal and job done.
Hmm. I had I was in a pretty rough ATV accident
Yep.
September 22nd, 2017. And I believe Katie was a physical therapist that
Hmm.
work was, yeah, it was a rough time. So I'm grateful to have somebody like, that there.
Well, the doctors fixed you, right? Katie repaired you. Got you doing again.
It, it's interesting. If we like, look, analogize the insurance business,
Yeah.
y- yeah, if you look at, because, okay, how did you come up with the name, All Things Retirement Group, and you talked about specializing in retirement?
I have a lot of admiration and respect for Pete Fournier. Met him about 4 years ago at a conference in Dallas. 2 years ago, started just on call with him every Wednesday. He does a training that's just phenomenal. And again, I was in a primary Medicare space only. And so going on those calls, I started implementing basically what he was saying to do. My whole thing is very, very simple. If you want to be successful, find somebody that's successful, copy what they're doing, right? And just repeat it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. And so that's exactly what I did. And in a Medicare primary space only, I won, like you said, back to back life insurance agent of the year and annuity agent over the year. And that was over other financial advisors. And I won it over them off of issued production. And so the way all things retirement group came about is I talked to Pete about it, and there can't be no better honor than to give him his due and props with his name in my business.
Wow. I love the Where did the idea of the copy come from? Because it made me, you're in Omaha, or I'm sorry, you're in Lincoln,
Lincoln.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm so attached to Buffett, I'm being, but where did the idea of copy, or it reminds me of Leonardo da Vinci, like, good artist copy, great artist steal type of, like, where did you learn that?
Yeah.
Is this,
Copy,
how
paste,
do you come
repeat.
with this idea?
Because the big thing with me is I don't have a massive ego, and a lot of people unfortunately do. And so they'll take something that somebody did successfully, try to recreate it on their own, and fail miserably. I seen it at my previous company I was at that are like, okay, this is, and I would, when I was doing training, right, I would tell my agents, all right, this is what you have to do. And some of them would do it. Some of them would try to reinvent it. And then within a short time, they would fall out. So yeah, it's very, very, life is, I'm 45, man. I don't have time to try to reinvent stuff to figure things out. So how about I just take something that is proven effective, that is known nationwide, and just replicate it.
Hmm.
And in doing so, in the last 3.5 months now, as far as business I've written, I've done $1.9 million in repositioning of money.
Yeah, I should say that in the beginning, that, in you there was, in one case, this is real data, that you were in the top 36 of 1,800 plus people, correct?
Yep.
And so, did you always see yourself as someone striving to be the best, or do you consider yourself competitive?
No, honestly not. I always got called like the golden child at the previous company I was with. I'm like, what the fuck am I a golden child? What the hell am I doing? Right? But all I was doing is I just get in front of people and I have a conversation and I listen to their needs. Right? Instead of just trying to say, okay, you need this, this, and this. Awesome. You tell me your story. And within your story, I can figure out exactly how to put a plan together.
What advice do you have for our listeners on how how to listen?
What's that now?
What
Say again?
advice do you have? Uh, sorry, I got to speak a little louder. What advice do you have to our listeners? Actually, that's almost pretty funny because I said, what advice do you have for our listeners on how to listen?
I was going to say that,
But I
but
was
you
mumbling.
you
I was
you caught
mumbling.
yourself on that one. The biggest advice if you're looking at getting into the insurance industry, you got to have a short memory. Simple as that. All right. I would attribute it to baseball. Okay. If you have three at bats and you get one hit and you strike out the other two, you can go play in the major leagues. There is no better or greater industry that you will fail and be expected to fail in than the insurance industry, and vice versa. Because you fail, you will be very successful. It's very vice versa, but it makes all the sense in the world because you might fail 10 times and then you hit the one. And that one right there takes a guy that was ready to quit the industry at the month three, and now here he is 5.5 years later running his own business.
Does the real, so if I hear you correctly, you're saying that is it that most advisors try to talk first, but the real work begins when you actually listen to the person's story because
Yeah,
and you're saying it's is it more you're talking to more people, it's volume.
yeah, yeah. But for me right now, it's volume of not of a number, a lot of cases, right? It's the case size. So because my mindset is working backwards to front, the amazing thing is the floodgates are open that referrals are coming to see me for that reason. And so when you have a tree, most people like to do the low hanging fruit, right? The Medicare Advantage. There's no offense, nothing wrong with that. The easy stuff, the stuff you really don't have to think about. You know, a $0 plan gets you $300. Everybody loves doing that, right? I always start at the top of the tree, and then if I can pick from the top of the tree all the branches below, I'm good to go.
Hmm. What were some early mistakes that you'd say, early mistakes in the career that
That
looking
I
back
made.
has made you who you are today?
Um, God, let me think about that one. So I don't think there was a whole lot of mistakes because everything had a reason,
Hmm.
right? Everything had a reason. Um, the company I picked was good. The downside to it was is I was led to believe that there was more growth when there wasn't. As far as what I learned early is yeah, I wanted to quit probably every day for the first 3 months. And that's the honest God truth. And I just kept telling myself, hey, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. If I would have had a different mindset, if I would have learned more about other products, I think that would have made a massive, massive difference because some people are just geared who just want to do Medicare, right? They just want that small little niche and say that's what I want to do. But then you have some outliers like myself and others that I know of that are destined for a lot more.
Can you tell us what all things retirement group is all about, like the kind of people that you serve?
Kind of people we serve are individuals that have questions that get 16 or 17 pages of a retirement plan that they can't understand. They have
Hmm.
no idea how to read it, they have no idea what it means. They believe in what it's supposed to do, but they're not quite sure. I talk to the people that don't talk to their advisor. They talk to them once a year, and that's about it. I talk to the people that get advice from TV or the internet as far as what to do with your health plan or what plan you should be on instead of them making sure doctors and everything's in network. Um, make sure they're good to go with that. I talk to people that have no long term care, that can't afford long term care, and we need to find a different route for them. whether it be home care or home health. I talk to people that are have a history of cancer in their family, and they're worried that if something was to happen to them, what could they do? And finally, what I'm just getting into the niche of more and more now is I'm talking to people that are my age that are still having a mortgage on a house that don't have anything of protection for it. And whether they're uninformed or they're just cheap, I'm learning more and more that that is a huge gap that a lot of 40s to 50-year-olds, my generation, has.
I'd love to go one by one on these and what they mean. It's fun if you have, yeah, if you don't mind. It's I love the way you
Absolutely.
teach. So let's start with that first. The you mentioned the protection to the mortgage that those people that are in that age range, many of our listeners. What do you mean by that? What's the problem and what solution or value? How do you view it?
Well, if you're 40, you probably bought a house 10 years ago on a 30-year mortgage. That would have put it in 2016, so probably look at about 4% interest. So let's say they got a $200,000 house 10 years ago, and they still owe 130 on it, and they're married. Heaven forbid they drive to work, right, get T-boned, and they're dead. Or heaven forbid they just have a random widowmaker, which is very popular for our generation, where your heart just stops. A lot of people don't really think about, okay, if something happens to me, well, my wife's going to be okay because I have my work insurance of 25 or 50,000. They don't think about the wife now is losing another income, that she has to take on all the payments, that 25 to 50,000 is wonderful, but that's going to be blown through in about, I don't know, 6 months. And now you're dead and your wife is automatically in debt more. And most people laugh about that and they say, yeah, but I'm dead, it's not going to really matter. Ha ha, joking, joking, because it's not comfortable. And then I really just look at them and say, is that really how you feel? Well, no, I want her to be taken care of. Yeah. And so there's plans that for as long as you got on your mortgage, so if you have 20 years left, it can be a 20-year plan. And so the last day that you pay your mortgage off, the plan can stop for you. But if you were to die in between that, your mortgage is paid off, and then some money left over goes to your wife. So now she doesn't have to pay the house anymore. It's 100% paid off, and she doesn't have to be in debt.
Wow. Yeah, I wonder what someone would how that let's use that hypothetical for a second that someone in that position, like the spouse, it that may or may not know much about all even maybe they haven't worked in years, like they're grieving. That could
Hmm.
probably be a hard thing to if I'm grieving and now I've got to think about a mortgage, that's very stressful, I would think. Just if I'm thinking off
Yeah,
the top of
yeah,
my
the boss
head.
gonna be nice. The boss gonna be nice and give a month off for grievance, and then back to work. And now you're realizing, oh crap, I have to pay off the monthly mortgage, all the bills, all the utilities, food, gas, groceries. If we have kids, I got the kids' sporting events as well, but I don't have that income. Thank God that GoFundMe raised $10,000, which was humiliating because now my face was on there showing everybody need help. Yeah, so many ways to avert that, but a lot again of people don't think about it, say, hey, it won't happen to me, or they're just naive.
How about what is long-term care?
Long-term care, nursing home, assisted living. That is massive right now because the baby boomers are entering into that age. So the Gen Xers, us, it falls on us to take care of them. Does your parents have a long-term care policy? Mine don't, which means that if they need it, guess what? Guess who it's going to fall on?
Oh man.
And so many people don't really realize that. And when they go to long-term care, You're not, I mean, it was like 2.5, 3 years, but now doctors, the advancement of medications, keeping people alive a lot longer than they want to be. And
Is it one
so,
of those things that, or go ahead, keep going.
no, no, you're good. So that's a big thing that we help people with. Also, if they're getting into retirement and they don't have a long-term care plan, the one thing I really like about Pete is we don't offer traditional long-term care policies. We'll do it via life insurance. We'll do it via asset-based, which is much more beneficial. That can actually help people out that are in the 50s and up. Because when you hit that 50s and up, it's going to be very hard to even get approved for traditional long term. All the underwriting health questions, they want to deny you for everything. The nice thing is with life insurance or asset base, it's four short questions and you're good to go. But what
Is
that will simply do
uh,
is alleviate your kids having to come take care of you, which is then when they don't have long term care, we transition to home care assistance or home health. Because simply I say this, you know, would you be okay that your son and daughter come over here, Mr. and Mr. Smith? Would you be okay your son and daughter come over here and get you in the bathroom, take your clothes off, set you on the toilet, stand you up when you're done, wipe your butt when you're done, get you in the shower? You want your son and daughter to do that?
do you find that most people don't want their kids to have to do that for them?
100%. I actually, you know what? 99.9. I had one person say, "Oh, my daughter will take care of that. She's good to go." And then I said, "Really? You really want that?" I said, "Would it be much nicer that if your son and daughter coming to visit you, and let's say it's getting towards the end of life for you, that somebody comes here prior to, get you all looking nice and ready. That way, when they come here, it's a nice visit instead of them having to work."
It's a deep and powerful question to pose and really think about.
Yeah.
Um, and the strain, I'm thinking like, if I become the long-term care for my parent or multiple, um, could that potentially impact my relationship in a negative way? Um, and
Well, how
just to
much
think
time do
about
you
it,
want to give away from your wife and kids, right? How much time do you need to take away from your career, your occupation to drive them to and from hospital, not hospital, but doctor visits, maybe hospital, who knows? How much time you need to take out of your occupation to get them to and from, they're going to need the therapies. So yeah, there are plans that
a
will
lot of
cover
stress.
all of those, but a lot of people just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until it's almost too late.
Would you? So my thought is a lot of these things are so serious that maybe I want to wait till tomorrow to deal with it, and every day is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so part of what you are helping people with is to make a decision today.
Tomorrow is not guaranteed because the big thing is you're a healthy person, Jay, right? And if you wanted to get, let's say, a life insurance for yourself, and you're like, "Yep, I'm gonna get it, but I don't have time today. But I promise you, God is my witness, right? And sword to my neck, I'll get it filled out tomorrow. You kill me." And you wake up and you walk downstairs and you fall down and break your leg, and you're in the hospital. Guess what happens now?
What? What?
So yeah, we don't play Russian roulette. If you can do it, do it. Because again, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, and it might be not be your fault. You might have somebody that had a rough day at work, had a couple beers on the way home, went through a stop sign and hit you, right?
Yeah. How important to you is the education piece is for your clients?
Massively. They want to know. You know, the big thing is there are certain professions where their job is to confuse you, right? If they confuse you, you're not going to question it. You'll just say, "Okay, we'll just go with it. We'll just
Yeah.
go with it." I want all my clients to know what they have, what they don't have. How can we fill in those gaps and problems? Bring in their kids so they know. That's a massive thing I like to do is invite the kids because I guarantee a lot of times the kids are invited, but who's it going to fall on? when parents chaos comes about and they need help.
Is it ever too early? Well, maybe this is too much. Like I'm just thinking out loud. Uh, long-term care, mortgage protection. Start strategizing as early as possible is good.
I just wrote myself a $1.1 million 30-year term life policy with living benefits for this one reason. We can help people with insurance, but when you're an insurance agent, a 1099, ooh, it costs a lot for us. So I want to make sure that if I was to get something happen, heart attack, stroke, something critical, that I have something that's going to take care of that. That way I don't have to jump into my investments and pull from that and drain that on paying bills.
Do you believe it's important to eat your own cooking?
Oh God, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, every one of my clients, I tell them if I'm going to provide them with something, I have it. And if I don't have it, I've gotten it for somebody. So home care, home health, right? I got that for mom and dad. I got that for friends of mom and dad's. I got it for my aunt and uncle. Long-term care policies don't do that, but asset-based long-term care, yeah. I've helped quite a few people get that taken care of this year.
What do you say to people that are skeptics and they think, all this is just salespeople selling?
Insurance is the most boring thing in the world. You can't just run around and be like, "Woo, I got it like a new, Lambo," right? You can't show it off. But when it comes time you need it, you are the most gracious person you have it if it is designed and set up to do what you need it to do. This is
Hmm.
where so many people will buy insurance, and I call them insurance poor just because they buy everything under the sun. And I've walked into houses where I've told people, hey, we're going to eliminate half of your policies you have, and I'm not going to refill them with anything because you have enough. And that's what I do at All Things Retirement Group. The All Things motto is we make sure that everything is set up. There's 6 pillars of retirement from health all the way to wealth and everything in between, right? Long-term care, tax, social security, everything. We make sure everything is organized.
Hmm.
And I tell you what, as an agent, life's a hell of a lot easier when you get a call, when that chaotic call comes, and the plan in place they agree to take from you, you know is going to do what its job.
What do you say to the person that said, I can do it all myself? I watch TV and the internet to get my information.
Cool. Tell me about it. Educate me. If it makes sense, absolutely. I'll be like, you know what? Here you go. I'll give him a job. Right? I'll hire him. But I come across so many people that try to do that and they put themselves in more financial peril than advancement.
Hmm. 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 One thing I think is important for people listening to understand is that your firm, All Things Retirement Group, operates inside of a broader ecosystem.
Yeah,
All Things Insurance Group, you talked about a little bit earlier. Can you explain that relationship and how it works? And
absolutely. The great thing about All Things Insurance Group, IMO, is it is independent, which means there are so many carriers to go shopping with. When you have the big name, insurance agencies, they can only offer their product. The great thing about ours is we can offer not only their product, but many more, right? In Nebraska alone, there are certain companies with certain big names that can only offer their Medicare supplement plan. I can offer theirs and 47 other ones.
hmm,
And so that's what's so nice about having within that the clout of the all things is not just Medicare or it's not just life or it's just not retirement income or retirement growth savings or tax. It's everything all in one.
hmm,
And so, I mean, it's not for everybody, right? There's going to be some agents that say, well, I just want to kind of do this. All right, well, good for you. But we want to teach you to not just do transactions. We want you to be your businessman, you be a business owner, right? When you walk in, they say, hey, that's my guy. That's the
okay.
ultimate goal.
And I'd love to learn about your view on mentorship because you say you were going to conferences, you ran into the founder of All Things Insurance Group, a regular on the podcast. I should shout
Pete,
out
what up,
everyone.
Pete?
We have so many great listeners. Hey, Pete, and our listeners know Pete, and our guests, and so I want to ask about mentorship piece. And you said you met him at a conference, and that you were on a weekly call that was being done. So, so have you always been coachable in that way, or is that something
Oh
that you
yeah.
learned later?
No,
What's
I've
the
always been
value?
like I got into an industry that most people are had years of experience when I first started. Right? I've been in, you know, July will be year 6 for me. Pete's been
Wow.
15. There's people that's been 20, 30, and so on. And that's where again, where you got to check your ego at the door because I need to get caught up, right? With the all things other agents, right? I simply tell them this, but it's 100% true, is I don't have a timeline to get things done. I got a deadline. I'm 10 years
Mm.
older, right? If I can go back 10 years ago and do this now, oh my God, right? My whole family for generations would be fine. But I don't have that leeway. And so what I'm missing the last 10 years, I got to catch up on.
How about your advice on going from learning something new to taking action? What's been your process that's worked to our
Just do
listeners? I
it.
think will be really,
Just do it. Don't be afraid of mistakes. My first annuity I wrote, I kid you not, I had 17 addendums, right?
oh, cool.
Bless that girl's heart that was helping me out doing it, right, at the previous company, right? Their RIA place. But yeah, it was 17 different addendums. But I didn't care, right? Why learn something and don't apply it? What good are you doing? If you're saying, hey, I'm going to put it in the back of my brain, I'm going to try it, when I feel more comfortable, you're never going to feel more comfortable than when you just learned it. So just do it. Now, as long as it's ethical, it's not going to screw somebody over, and you're staying compliant within our industry standards, you're going to be fine. But too many people get in their own way of wanting to do that. Like I said, my last company I came from, everybody was agents for Medicare. The only ones that did annuities were Series 65 and above, right? Seven, financial advisors. I was just the agent writing my own and pissing them off because I didn't need them and they weren't, getting half the comp. But I did that just by learning and applying and doing it.
Can you explain more on what you mean by check your ego at the door?
Yeah. I mean, like we talked about, you have to be willing to be coached. You have to be willing to be mentored. I am taking advice. I'm 45, right? My opinion, I know everything, but I know nothing. I am giving my whole self and learning and future and financial goals for myself and my family in the hands of somebody 8 years younger than me. Most people would be like, I'm not going to do that. I want to be somebody that's 10 years older than because that guy obviously has experience because he's older from age. Most people my age don't go backwards again. But I found something that is successful and replicatable, easily replicatable. And so that's how I learn. That's how I coach. It's what I want.
What would you say ATIG ecosystem helped you see that you would not have seen or hadn't
I,
yet?
working back to front again. I came from predominant Medicare, and there was just every now and then an annuity would happen, which would be great. But then back to Medicare, right? That's what they wanted. Now they said, hey, we need more annuities to get numbers up, but it's basically the Medicare aspect. And so coming over to all things, primarily their life insurance, right? All brands of life insurance. A little bit of Medicare. They do a lot of group business to business, and they do advanced market. And so coming over and having people be like, yeah, keep your specialty with Medicare, but you showing you can do the advanced market. So instead of, you know, advanced market down here, Medicare, let's flip it to which we did like that. And by hitting the advanced market, now all the other stuff just starts to trickle down. So instead of
Was
me having to try to reach up to try to grab whatever, I'm just now a funnel. And by coming to ATIG and learning, I mean, hell, I saw Pete now in the last year, what, 4 times? I think. Yeah, 3 or 4 times. I've flown to North Carolina to talk.
was there a moment you realized it's not just products that I'm learning, but business and beyond?
Yeah. Um, March or May of 25, I brought my wife. March, I came up to meet Pete. Well, I'll just get into it. So I had my 5-year review, my previous company, right? In January of 2025. And everything was like a massive demotion, unfortunately. My goal in 5 years is I wanted my own office. Was told it wasn't going to happen. I wanted to have my own office in my own city, right? I would have had to leave and go somewhere else and start over. And I'm like, look, I got rapport here. People know me. They like me. They love doing business with me. Let me have my own office here. They said no. I had a downline at the time. It got taken away, right? Wasn't told why. It just got taken away. I had a marketing budget that was given to me. That got taken away as well. And so when you learn those things, you're like, okay, I think it's time to do something. So I contacted Pete and he's like, yep, come see me. So I flew up there. And it was in March it hit me because everything that I want of my own office here, and the vision that I have, he has the same vision, the exact same. So when you work with somebody that has the visions that are very similar, it's very easy to work with someone like that. What I found in the industry is if somebody has a different vision than yours, it's very hard to work with that. That's why whoever wants to come over to All Things Retirement Group, and Pete does a great job when he does recruiting, I help out with Medicare. And so what he's finding, there's a lot of life agents out there that want to cross sell Medicare, but never really been taught, or they've been given like a little video. So Pete sends them to me so I can show them properly how to do Medicare. So now we can teach them to just be every tool in their toolbox to create their own all-star. But yeah, after that meeting in March, when I got back on the plane and left, I took my Remarkable out and just started writing down a bunch of stuff, pros and cons. And that pro list just started getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer.
What makes someone coachable in the industry?
Approachable,
Coachable.
coachable. Coachable is they want to be to where you're at, but they realize it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Hmm.
So what I realized when I was training my last place is new people they would hire, they would give them the allure, right? That where I'm at for my end game, they can be at for their beginning game. And it doesn't work that way. Being coachable is realizing you're going to make mistakes, but if your mentor inspires you every day to come back to work, even on the worst days, you're going to be fine. It's going to be great. Being coachable is giving them a call, have them say what to do, and actually implementing it. Not
Hmm.
just calling and complaining and then get off the phone and being like,
Hmm. You've been in multiple environments now. What do you think? What's different about the culture that produces transactions versus produces leaders?
transactional. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's their niche, but they really don't like to go to work. They might like to do it certain like 3 months out of the year and call it good. Um, you really don't. You're not doing something out of the norm somebody else can do. I'll put it that way, right? For transactional sales where it's $0 plans or just rolling over a new client and taking their residuals or taking the half year up front, it doesn't take any kind of specialist to do that. Yes, you have to have training. I get that. But so many people in the industry are doing it, and that's why so many people in the industry are failing out. The leaders are the one that are learning about other lines of product. And so what it took for me was I needed to be at the bottom where Medicare was, and then learn all the other lines, right? Ancillaries, life, annuities. Now I'm learning B2B group business. And then transitioning into, okay, I feel comfortable enough knowing this that I can show other people what I'm doing to help them be successful.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so
What do
that's
you
what the stages have been for me.
what would you say you want your clients to have in their mind that All Things Retirement Group stands for?
Perfect communication. Response time is admirable. If you call me and I don't call you back within 24 hours, check to make sure I'm not dead or at a hospital, right? Normally, most calls is just a fear. You just have to put to help them get over that fear. My clients know that I am professional, but also human. Case in point, did a $120,000 annuity uh, a week and a half ago. And I sent a picture to the guys. I'm having beers afterwards with the clients because that's their way to celebrate. And so, what a lot of my clients will tell you about me is I love to have fun. I'm very knowledgeable, hopefully, in what I'm talking about. They trust me immensely because when they trust me, they're giving me referrals.
Hmm.
And that's the ultimate trust you can get from any client, is when they tell somebody about what you do to help them. It gets no better than that.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because they are taking their friends or family situation that they know a lot of, and they say, okay, my guy Jay, I think he can help you.
Hmm.
I think he can help you. And I'm not talking about referrals that we ask for. I'm talking about the random ones that come on a Wednesday afternoon out of the blue.
Ah,
Hey, I got so and so. I think they'd be really good if you can talk to them.
what? Why is that more powerful than the ones you ask for?
Because when you ask for it, you're kind of putting them on the spot. And I still do it, right? I still do it. I ask for referrals all the time. But you put them on a spot that they weren't prepared for, right? So they kind of feel like they have to. When they randomly call you and don't have to and say, hey, I got somebody, and the first person I thought of to help their situation is you. That is the ultimate sign of respect. That's the most gratitude you can get from any client, no matter what. I don't care who tells you what.
Powerful. What are the core values behind how you do business?
Always do what's right. Okay. We always put the clients first and foremost. Treat them like your mom or dad. Treat them like your grandma and grandpa. Treat them like your brother or sister. And most importantly is we don't turn into ghost. And simply what I mean by that is you have somebody that calls you on the phone, sells you a policy on the phone. When do you ever talk to that person again?
Hmm.
Never. Or there's lots of field agents, unfortunately, that I've seen. A lot of houses I went to of clients that I have now is because 7, 8 years ago when they had their agent, seeing them the first time, got on this wonderful $0 plan. I haven't heard from him since.
Hmm. When you look 3 to 5 years out, what are you building?
3 to 5 years out, I'm building a system that mimics what Pete has right now. I'm doing it in the Midwest. And we are building front or start from back to front retirement plans. So hitting everything. So when we talk to people, we're not just doing Medicare. We're not just doing, their Social Security. We're not just doing their annuities. We do it all. And so that's the biggest thing that I'm working on getting my community to notice. I started joined a networking group of all business owners is just branding and getting out there and letting people know what we do. Because I truly feel in Lincoln, this office right now, being as brand new, is the best in the whole city as far as putting together complete retirement plans that you understand.
Hmm. What kind of father, leader, man do you hope to be, do you hope that business allows you to become?
What kind of father or founder
Father, leader, man,
for the
do you hope
business?
business allows you to become?
I hope to scale this and have this office in different states in the Midwest. That's the ultimate goal right there. Get Lincoln to the point we got massive notoriety. Bring on about 5 or 6 agents, right? Veterans. I'm sorry, not new ones. No offense to new ones, but they need to go through somewhere else, right, to begin with. And then when they realize, all right, I've learned, but I'm at kind of my ceiling. I want to take the next level. I got the door wide open for you. Um, but yeah, 5 or 6 really good ones. Train them, and then talk about what they want to do.
Hmm. What's the biggest lesson in 2026?
It's not doom and gloom. Not doom and gloom. I started this July 2025. November 2025, we had $150 in our bank account. We exhausted all of our everything to this business for the startup to beginning, everything. And then just kept on being persistent, kept the faith, and realized what I'm doing is very powerful. And then, so that was November. The first week of December, things just started hitting big time. So since January 1st of 2026 to now, I have made $97,000.
How how have you processed that?
Again, my business made it, not for me, but it came in because again, I just kept doing the same thing that's being effective. That is working. That is working. Yeah, you start a new business, you got to start that machine somewhere. You just can't turn it on and automatically goes. If it does, you're freaking amazing, right? So we had to ramp it up. There was nicks and crayons we had to take care of. There was finances stuff we had to do, right? We were down to it. But the biggest lesson I can take out of that is just keep the faith, man. Holy shit. Again,
Jay,
things get
you're an
bad,
inspiration.
but I had to listen to myself because I'm the one that said, you fail more than you succeed in this industry ever. You fail more. But when you succeed, holy shit, do you succeed?
Jay, I appreciate you sharing your story today.
Yeah, buddy. Absolutely. My pleasure.
And you're an inspiration. I'm glad, I'm grateful I picked the quote. You made it easy for me by telling me to buy this book when we met.
Yeah.
So thank you
I
for
love that
that.
book.
By Billy Alsbrooks. And from going from serving your community in law enforcement to serving in their retirement and making sure that their family is better and they and their families are better off. Having met you, you're an inspiration. I'm excited to learn about all things retirement group and where all things insurance group is going. And I'm looking forward to next time already.
I'm excited for it, buddy. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
If you're listening to this podcast, I challenge you, please, where can they follow you and your journey? Just one quick place.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, just Jay Stoll, Jaystoll. Instagram, you can find me at ATRG Jay Stoll. Um, if you want to send me an email, we can attach it to this if you want to, and phone number.
Perfect. Please share this with someone that you know will get value from it. Leave us a review on the Culture Matters podcast, and we will see you next time. Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure. Take care, Jay.